All right, guys, here we are out on Kentucky Lake, and it is springtime. The sun finally came out, and we've got a couple of nice days here before more rain is coming into the area. But wintertime hopefully is behind us. The good news is for the fishing is that we had a pretty mild winter, so water temperatures are already starting to warm up, already getting close to that 60-degree mark. But I'll be bringing a few fishing reports here over the next few months, like I do every year, right here to get us through the spring months. Keep you guys informed on kind of what's going on. Good shad spawn last year. We had a good shad population show up towards the end of the fall last year. If you followed any of my reports over the last couple of years, you know the lake's kind of going through some tough times, but man, exciting to see the numbers of fish that I've seen over the last few days that I've been out here fishing. So that's the good news. You know, you still catch a lot of those smaller ones, but I've caught some good healthy ones too. So look forward to 2023 and seeing what this year is going to bring. But just to give you an idea kind of what's going on with the lake, we've had a lot of heavy rains here. Water temperatures are in that 57 to 60 degree mark. I'm sure if you got way back you can find some you know, some of that water that's probably in that lower 60 degree mark too. But for the most part it's right there, typically a little bit warmer than probably what it typically would be this time of year, but we've had the mild winter. So water color is pretty stained. You know, there's some creeks that are dirtier than others, especially on that west side of the lake. I'm actually sitting over here on the east side this afternoon. I come over here and started running some stuff with a little bit cleaner water. Typically closer to the river out here, the water typically gets cleaner faster over here. It doesn't stay as dirty as it does on that west side. Still got a pretty good stain to it though. You still catch a few fish on a jerkbait and A-rig over here in this current. They are pulling a lot of water because, you know, that we've had such heavy rains recently, and we've got a lot more yet to come this week. So a few baits that's just working, you know, the staples this time of year. Lipless crankbait. I've been going about halfway back to almost all the way back on some of these, in some of these creeks. The water temperature is really starting to warm up, and it's really pushing those fish, especially you see this high bright sun, it's pushing those fish up there shallow. Make sure you look for those rock transition banks, look for those channel banks where the channel tucks in close to the bank. They like to be close to that deep water. It's just easy access. They can pull up there. But the cool thing about this time of year is that every fish in the lake is going to pull up and start eating at some point. You know, they just, it's that time of year that we can really see how healthy the lake is, and the number of quality fish, the number of keeper fish, short fish that's in the lake, because everything is up there and active and biting. But this is a 6 cents Duke. I like to throw this, just toss it around out here, you know, halfway back when I'm covering water around those rock transition areas. But when you're going down those banks, make sure you look for those places that's got a subtle change to the bank. Don't just get out on the bank and just go down the bank. Get on your map and look for those areas that might have a little jet out or something that's under the water, especially if you get those windy days. We're going to get some nasty weather in the next few days. I got a feeling the fish are really going to start biting with that cloudy overcast and that wind coming in. So another bait that I toss this time of year a lot of times is a crankbait. This is a little flat side crankbait from 6 cents. Everybody out here likes to throw the Spro Little John, the Bandit 200s. Berkley makes their Fritz side. You know, there's a lot of good crankbaits. So whatever you like to throw, there's not one that, you know, I mean, there's obviously a lot, you know, situations where a certain bait works better than the other, but you know, I throw the 6 cent stuff. Me personally, I like a lot of their stuff, so if I can get bit on that, that's what I'm gonna try to get bit on. But and then you'll have, when in that real dirty water, fish will come up after a chatterbait. You're catching the same fish that you're catching on that lipless. The difference is that lipless, you know, it may get down a little bit deeper because you're typically winding the chatterbait up in the water column. But black and blue 3/8, you know, in that shallower water. But that's a 3 baits that you can really cover a lot of water with, especially with the water clarity kind of dingy to somewhat dirty in some of the creeks, especially on that west side. But like I say, I'm over here on the east side now of the lake. Typically I find a little bit cleaner water. It's starting to clean up a little bit over here, throwing the Provoke jerk bait. A lot of times I'll throw 2 out over some of that deeper stuff. I'll throw the little bit deeper diver like a DD. And look for those places again on your map that kind of underwater points. You know, this time of year, whenever the TVA is pulling all this water, it really sets those fish up on those places. And these warm sunny days too, if you get that wind, it'll push them right up on the bank. So two things you got to do. You got to figure out, are the fish on bottom? 9 times out of 10, if they're pulling a lot of water, they're going to be down there tucked to the bottom or tucked to the back side of those points. And then find out, you know, on these slick days, a lot of times you can see, especially if you get out on some of those little eddies or places where there's not as much current, those fish will suspend, and that's where they'll bite that jerkbait and that A-rig. But that kind of gives you an idea of what's going on out here. I'm looking forward to 2023, excited about the shad spawn we had last year, excited to see what you know, what the year has to bring. Make sure you come by the store, check us out at HighTechOutdoors.com. We've got Caymas boats, Crestliner, Harris. We added Viaggio pontoons this year. Come by the shop. We've got full selection of tackle, everything. Come see Tony, Matt, me, the guys. Everybody there can fix you up. We're still offering the on-water training. Lowrance, Garmin, Humminbird. Matt Carter joined up with us last year. He's one of the other guides out here. So if you're looking for a good crappie guide or even a bass guide, you know, he's a great guy to jump in a boat with. It'll take you out fishing. And come by the shop, see us. If you're looking for an on-water trip or a fishing trip, check me out online at BrandonHunterFishing.com. You can shoot me an email at info@BrandonHunterFishing.com. And I'll see you guys on the water.